And just to go back to something that Bakari had said earlier about how like he was in a chat room one night and we were talking about the mothers of the movement. Like, dude, seriously though, that's not a diss to them. You know, these are women. These are cases that the world as a whole, you know, has embraced, you know, their loss as our loss, right? But at the same time, your grief and our sympathy should not be used against us to leverage votes for someone. Because let's be real, and this is another issue to push back against. You know, when Sabria Filton is talking about gun control and gun reform, that has nothing to do with the Trayvon Martin case. Like nothing. I understand that her son was murdered with a gun, but the issue with George Zimmerman would not have been resolved if there were different gun laws involved. Like it wouldn't have. Yep. Same thing with Jordan Davis's case. There was nothing in that case. Both Florida cases, both initially tried to use stand your ground. Zimmerman ultimately was a self-defense case and it failed in Michael Dunn's case. So that's a completely different issue. And quite honestly, if we're going to talk about stand your ground and these twisted self-defense laws, then you need to look at the Koch brothers and the way they have infiltrated with their dark money in a lot of these state level legislatures, which goes back to what Bernie says about campaign finance reform and getting dark money out of politics. So I have a serious problem because, again, you're not even necessarily actively involved in this so-called movement that you are now trying to proclaim yourself a mother or a leader of. And who made you that? It's not like that was a title given to them by the activists, the activist community themselves, right? That's what was given to them by the campaign. The campaign labeled them that. So how do you put your own spin on a movement that you're not even a part of, that you're not even a supporter of? Because you throw out, the same activists you're trying to sway, you throw them out of your rallies. So like that isn't even, or you won't even speak to them or engage them. Yes, I am a one issue candidate. My issue is
you saw it. I was just about to tell you that. Go ahead.
My issue is justice. You can come on anytime and debate me. You think you can do it? Like seriously. I mean, what I don't people, it's really easy to sit there and we can attack people and we can make little comments and tweet nonsense at each other. But yes, that's a great point. Tamir Rice's mom and I was actually looking for it. Tamir Rice's mom dropped a piece on Medium either yesterday or a day before yesterday. It said, talked about why she was not endorsing anyone, because she's getting, and she didn't expressly say it, but she's basically saying she's getting pulled. You know, other women, other mothers of the movement have endorsed, and she's getting asked why she won't endorse this, that, and the other. And she's like, as a mother of the movement, I'm not endorsing, and this is why. Because nothing on the table of either candidate is addressing the issue I am having right now. And no, it won't bring Tamir back, but nobody is addressing the issue I'm having with prosecutors. And what we just saw happen in Cleveland, and we saw the same thing happen in Cleveland and Chicago.
Yep.
Incumbent prosecutors that failed to to properly handle and address police killing cases were voted out.
Yes, they were. Yep.
And replaced. So that is local action happening, right? And while on the one hand I appreciate and agree with her point, because we've talked about this, there are things that can be done in terms of criminal justice reform beyond just decriminalizing marijuana and, bringing down our prison population. There are so many other things, but a lot of that also, what a lot of people don't want to hear, or we're putting pressure on presidential candidates, is that a lot of that also requires a state level, local level conversation, right? Because you can have a lot of federal reform happening, but you still need people on the state and local level to really have certain changes occur.
Here's something that jumps out to me, and I want to take this caller. I had a conversation with JP, the previous caller, my road dog. Like I talk to him all the time, and he made a great point. He was like, with Buy Anita and the campaign in Cleveland when they got rid of the prosecutor, Bernie Sanders could have got a lot of mileage out of riding with those campaigns. Do or die, sink or swim, like saying, co-signing with those campaigns all the way. Like he said, Rahm Emanuel needs to resign, right? But he didn't go all in. I think Illinois is different if he had went all in against Rahm Emanuel and all in against Anita Alvarez. And so this just represents an opportunity that we missed. and something that we can learn from. All right.
But this is a conversation we've been continuing to have. I'm sorry, caller, just one point. This is a conversation we've been continuing to have though, right? Like, they need to get involved with grassroots folks who actually have their pulse on the community. They were involved with some people, but they didn't really have the sit down. And I shared that one post with you from earlier. They didn't really have the sit down and really actively engage with the community, with those people who were organizing and engaging in the community, to really build that front. Because, you know, I mean, that Buy Anita action, that Buy Anita work was big. It was everywhere. Like when you look at the pictures all on Facebook, people just dropping sheets, spray painted, like off the side of the highway. Like it was guerrilla activism at its finest. Now, a good point that Kyle made last night, which is true, the establishment also backed Kim Foxx. Like, so Kim Foxx had, you know, the community. Kim Foxx also had, if she didn't have the community because she's like so great, you know, I don't really know much about her background, but she had the community background because she was a better option and Anita had to go.
Yeah.
And they're already, you know, people took their day to break, but then they're looking forward to how do we push and get certain things addressed that we need to get addressed going down the line, because there's still all these issues. So we need to definitely talk about what's going on in this presidential campaign, but at the same time, we need to be thinking about what's going on our state and local level. And I see Stacey just made a comment about policies doing the most damage are on the state and local levels. And there is a lot that's happening in our state houses that people need to start paying more attention to. I know we have a caller though.
Yes, we do. My caller has Anoa. Continue on with your rant.
No, I'm just saying that we've talked about this several times, going back to the Buy Anita, because like honestly, I didn't even realize Cleveland was organized like that.
I'm like, for real, I didn't
even realize that was like, but I knew that there had been a lot of push in terms of the disappointment with the way that case, the Tamir Rice case, was handled, you know, but I did not realize that there was the push the same way in terms of getting rid of the prosecutor. I mean, people said it back in December when he fumbled through the rationale and reasoning and why he wasn't going to pursue charges, which was totally ridiculous. You know, people were saying like, you know, folks need to vote him out. While there are some prosecutors in the country who are appointed, there are quite a few who are elected. And it's like I can't think of his name right now, from Ferguson, but he ran unopposed in the general election and his opposition didn't have support. Like, that was a good example of how you need to make sure that how you need to make sure that people are being accountable to the voters, because too often, you know, we have these prosecutors. That's what happened in Staten Island. Prosecutors are being accountable to the police officers who work with them. But if you're an elected official, that's not who put you in office, you know. And so I do think that the conversation with Bakari earlier about, you know, accountability and working on that local level and the real grassroots, you know, we're talking about grassroots and organizing. And we'd have to have a sustained movement, because burn your bus, whatever, you know, you are, we got to have a sustained movement. It can't just be, you know, just for now. It can't be just be voyeuristic activism. Like, y'all got to be ready to do this for real, you know. But the other issue I have too, because I just saw a comment that caught.
Because one spot, Bakari, I almost said Baraki, Bakari got me on. He spoke directly to what we're doing here at the Progressive Army,
which he did.
is having a support base on the local level. It does not exist in in progressive politics. It absolutely exists in conservative politics. The Tea Party, they have memberships that are small as, I swear, I met some guys from Massachusetts that are part of a Tea Party that has 3 members, but they work on the local level and they work to do what they can to help the local candidate get elected from the Tea Party. And we as progressives, we always start at the top and put all of our energy in who's going to be president. When we need to put our energy in who's going to be the council member, we need to start there and work our way up to the top. Because as Stacey said in the chat room, Stacey, we might as well go ahead and bring you in the show, because we still have a whole half hour left.
I should just give her the link now.
And it feels like it's like we've done a lot in the last hour and a half. I'm tired, but we put all this energy in the top when in actuality the issues that we are so upset about, they aren't. The economic issues has a global component. Yes, we should address that from a global perspective, from the office of the presidency on the economic level. Yes, but everything else starts locally, and even some of the economics starts locally, and we have to have this infrastructure. So when Bakari said that, I had nothing to rebut him with because I agree with them 100%. Now, what that being said, Noah, I'm going to let you take this caller.